Hi, Erica Kirk here with United Real Estate of Kansas City. I'm a licensed realtor in Missouri and Kansas, and welcome to the Home Buyer's Roadmap. I love my city, and I hope that you come to love it too. If you need a good realtor, let me know. I'll be glad to help you with whatever you need to get into our city. And if you're watching this from somewhere else, just let me know if you need a realtor in that city. We have a great network of realtors within United Real Estate, and I'd love to set you up with a good, hardworking realtor. All right, so you've decided to buy your first house. What's the first thing we need to do? Well, we've got to meet. We've got to talk about agency relationships, and that's how I will represent you during the negotiation and sale and looking at houses. We're going to go through and do a need and wish list, and then we're going to prioritize that list and make sure that we absolutely know those things that you cannot live without. I'm going to educate you on the market and help you get oriented into what this market looks like in Kansas City. It's ever changing. Right now, it's a seller's market. At the end of the year, it may be a buyer's market. I don't know. I just know that it does change and you need to stay on top of it. Then we're going to have you sign, and I'll sign it too, a buyer representation agreement. That just means that I am binding myself contractually to you to represent you throughout the whole entire process. We're also going to talk about your financials. Who's your lender? If you don't have one, do we need to find you one? What kind of loan are you going to get? There are several different products out there for you to look into. And if you go to a good lender that has a bunch of products, you can get almost anything you need to buy a house. They're going to issue what's called a pre-approval letter after they do a cursory check of your credit. And if you need credit repair, just remember you've got to be patient. Your lender and I will tell you what to do to get your credit up and running again, and then we can resume our house search at that time. So once everything's good to go, you have your pre-approval letter in hand, you know how much you can borrow in order to get into a house. We're going to start the search. I'm going to set you up on an MLS Portal drip, and that is directly from the MLS listing site that I use. And in that portal, you can favorite houses, you can leave me notes, you can delete houses that you don't like, but you should know that those come directly from the listing company that we use, and they will be the most relevant and up-to-date information. There are other sites that you can use, and you certainly can send those to me, and I will research them further. We're also going to revisit your home needs and wants and make sure that they're still accurate. Once we've done all that and you see some properties that you like, we're going to select those out and we're going to make appointments. I'm going to make appointments as your realtor. And then we're going to go view those. And you always go with an agent. You should never enter anybody's house by yourself. It's just, it's not fair to the seller and it's kind of dangerous on your end. So always go with an agent. Now we have something called FSBOs. We call them FSBOs, for sale by owners. You will see those out and about. Please know that if you see a FSBO, snap a picture of the phone number and the address and send it to your realtor and let them call on your behalf. They are working as your agent representatives, and they will take care of getting you into that property if they can. And there's also something called off-market properties. Those are like, okay, I may want to sell my house, but I'm not ready to sell my house, and I'm not really sure I'm going to sell my house. But if the right buyer came along and a realtor reached out to me, then I would sell my house. So it could mean that a realtor is going to go knock on somebody's door because you like it and see if you'll sell it. That's what we're for. So once you find the house, we're going to sit down and we're going to write up an offer. It's a lot of paperwork. That's where an agent really comes in handy because we know how the paperwork works. We're going to ask for concessions if you want some. So concessions are things like, I'd like to have $3,500 of my closing costs paid, or I'd like to have an allowance because the carpet's really bad in this house, or I'd like to have a home warranty and I'd like for the seller to pay for it. Once that's all done and we have signed all the paperwork that goes with the offer, we will send it with an earnest money check to the listing agent so that he can present it to the seller. This offer is going to have an expiration date on it, so a seller can't sit on it forever and come back 6 months later and say, I'll take your offer now. Once we send the offer into the listing agent and it's presented, there are several things that could happen. We could have what's called a multiple offer situation. That's where a house is great and it's priced right and a ton of people want it at the same time. And those can be very disappointing or very fun, depending on how you like to negotiate. So you, on a house that we think will go for multiple offers, you really need to make sure that you put your best foot forward. There's also counter offer situation. That's where the seller comes back and says, I like your offer. It's just not high enough, or I don't like the concessions. Here's what I want. They send those directly to the agent, by the way. They don't go directly to you. They can either accept the offer or they can send you a declination for it and say, no, thanks. Once the offer is accepted, you've gone through all your negotiation of the counter offer and everything. Once it's accepted, then we'll deposit the earnest money. The earnest money goes into an escrow account and will be refunded to you at closing. It has to go in there. It has to be deposited. Then we start looking at the contractual timelines of the contract to make sure that we stay compliant with what the timelines tell us we have to do. And we'll get the paperwork to your lender so they can get going on the loan. Inspections are one of the things that happen in a contract, and they occur right after your contract is accepted. And there is a timeline to that process. That's where a realtor comes in handy because they will keep on that timeline for you. There'll be no mistakes, at least I hope. There are several types of inspections you can do. You can do a whole house inspection with a radon and a termite, or you can do just a radon, or you can just do a survey, or you can look at foundations or roofs. It doesn't matter. It's what's important to you. I like a whole house inspection because it gives us a general overview of the health of the house. Houses aren't perfect, so you're going to always find little tiny things that are wrong. What we're looking for is the big things that are wrong that we need to renegotiate and take care of before closing. So if you have a problem with inspections or the appraisal, that's the time to renegotiate the contract. So if you have a problem with an inspection, let's say the roof is absolutely ridiculously old and needs to be replaced. Well, that's a no-go item. So it has to be replaced in order for you to buy it. It probably, if it's really bad, would have to be replaced in order for you to get funded. So we ask to have it replaced. If the appraisal comes back low, there are several things that we can do, and we'll talk about those in another episode. Now, why would you want to renegotiate? Because you don't want a house that's full of problems. If it's full of problems, you either want to get it for a better price or you want to have the opportunity to say, no, thank you. What is as is? Well, as is means that the seller's not going to repair anything. You're welcome to do the inspections for your own edification, but they're not going to repair anything. Contractual timelines are still very, very important so that you stay in compliance with the contract that we've written up. All right. Once we've gotten through the inspection phase and some other timeline phases, we're going to move into title work. That is done by a title company. Title companies do a title search to make sure that the people selling the house are the people that are supposed to sell the house, or to make sure that the line of titles has been correctly done. They're going to examine that title to make sure there are no liens or tax stuff on it or anything funny that they maybe need to clear up. And then they're going to issue what's called title insurance. That's the insurance that helps you down the road if something ends up being wrong when you go to sell your house. Then we have the loan. Now, this is can be one of the most frustrating processes in the whole contract. You're going to find out that underwriting's just going to want a lot of stuff. They're going to want everything, and they're going to always ask you for more stuff, and they may ask you for it in triplicate. Just be happy that they're looking and provide what they've asked for. Underwriting can be fun. if you've got the right lender. It can be uneventful if you have the right lender. It can be very difficult if your lender doesn't know what they're doing. So make sure that you've chosen the right lender for that process. Once the loan is processed, we move on to closing day. Closing day will probably take place at a title company because they generally gather all the paperwork together. Don't be surprised if there's a delay in closing. I always tell my clients, expect a 3-day bump out. We're going to set it for this day, but be prepared if something comes up in underwriting or something comes up with the way monies look, we have to delay it by 3 days. It's a federal requirement. We will start to look with the title company that all the contract and financing contingencies are satisfied. Those are all the things within the contract that we ask for. So financing contingencies would be your loan. Some of the other contract contingencies would be like, oh, the home warranty is being paid for by the seller, or you're getting a $3,500 credit at closing for your closing costs. You will receive final loan approval. Then you're going to start signing papers, and you're going to sign papers, and you're going to sign papers, and you're going to smile some more and sign some more papers. Once everything is signed, everything goes off, and the loan is funded, and money changes hands most of the time via wiring, and then the deed is recorded by the title company. That's actually, I think it's kind of fun to go to closing. I know that you're signing a lot of paperwork, but it is actually a lot of fun because it's exciting. You're going to get your keys very, very soon. One of the things I want to talk about is moving week, that very last week during the process. One of the most important things you need to pay attention to is this right here, transferring utilities. You don't want to get into your house the first day and realize, oh my gosh, I don't have any water. You want to make sure those utilities get transferred. Also, you want to submit a change of address so that the mail that you get comes to you. Prepare for your moving company to come in and move your items, or like most of my friends do, prepare for your friends to come over and start carrying your stuff into the U-Haul. And always pack an overnight bag, especially if you're using a moving company. Pack the things that are most important to you, because when you move, you're not going to be able to find anything. And you take possession of your new home. You get the keys. You go home. You open the door and you enjoy your new home in Kansas City or wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to contact me at itsericak@gmail.com, or you can contact me at this phone number right here, 816-729-0876, which is my direct line, my cell phone. Or you can call my office at this number right here and ask for Erica Kirk. They will forward your phone call to me and I will answer, or I will call you right back. All right, guys, have a great day, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.